Now at 11, how volunteers and experts are working to assist a young whale stranded along the Oregon coast.
Prayer so that maybe it'll make it out.
Plus, the federal government not letting up in the legal fight over the deployment of troops to Portland.
What people need to remember is that this is not going to get resolved anytime soon.
And a tragic loss at a longtime downtown Portland restaurant. How Higgins plans to honor one of its founders.
We're going to keep, cooking and doing things the way we've always done them, and keep Paul on our mind.
And thanks so much for joining us here at 11. I'm John Adams. A live humpback whale washed ashore on the Oregon coast last night, causing a huge community response. Experts say this is the first live whale that has come ashore since 2018. Jake Holter has the story from Yachats.
Experts say the 6,000-pound whale is still alive as of this afternoon, and they are exploring every option to rescue it.
Trying to get a 6,000-pound animal off of the beach is quite an undertaking.
A humpback whale beached near San Marine State Park in Yachats. Jane Holbrook works with the Oregon Marine Mammal Stranding Network, part of Oregon State University's Marine Mammal Institute.
When a whale comes ashore, it's usually a carcass of a deceased whale, but it's a whole bigger deal when it's a live one because we all care so deeply.
She says this whale is only about 26 feet long, making it a calf or yearling. She says it got entangled in fishing gear, volunteer rescuers freed it Saturday night, and the whale quite the spectacle Sunday.
For me, it's a rarity, so I came to see the whale and say a few words and give some encouragement, prayer so that maybe it'll make it out and survive its ordeal here.
I hope they can help this thing get back out to sea. It's not going to be an easy thing to accomplish, I'm sure.
The best option that any animal has is being able to self-rescue. And we've had the high tide come in. The animal was unable to do that at this point. So we're looking at potential other interventions.
Holbrook says the whale is too large to simply push, and it would be difficult to get it in a sling and have a helicopter pick it up, but they are considering every option.
Creating a possible channel for it to self-rescue is a possibility, but it's just a pretty Herculean effort.
Sadly, experts say the most likely and kindest option is euthanasia. Jake Holter, KGW News.
New here at 11, the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office announced that the body of a hunter who went missing at the end of October has likely been recovered. Devin Dobeck went on a hunting trip October 30th and was supposed to return the next day. The Sheriff's Office says yesterday, volunteer searchers found a body at the base of a cliff near the Fish Creek Trailhead in Mount Hood National Forest. Because of where the body was, search and rescue teams waited until this morning to start the recovery mission. It took multiple teams most of the day clearing trees, rappelling to the body, and then carrying it out to be evacuated. The Clackamas County Medical Examiner's Office is now working to confirm if it's Dobeck. The Trump administration has filed an emergency motion against a federal judge's ruling blocking National Guard deployment to Portland. The Justice Department filed the motion with the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals seeking to reverse U.S. District Judge Karen Immergit's November 7th ruling that found President Donald Trump exceeded his authority when he federalized Oregon National Guard members. Judge Immergit ruled after a 3-day trial that President Trump broke federal law and violated the Constitution when he ordered the September deployment to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Building on South Macadam Avenue in Portland. Here's Laura Appelman, the Van Winkle Melton Professor of Law at Willamette University, explaining what this all means.
They filed an emergency motion to get the Ninth Circuit to stay or to put a hold on Judge Immergit's permanent injunction until the Ninth Circuit can hear that. So that's basically saying, hey, Ninth Circuit, we think this is so wrong and we are so likely to win on the ultimate merits that you should put it in an order saying, Judge Immergit, your permanent injunction is suspended until the Ninth Circuit or indeed the Supreme Court ultimately hears this issue.
Appelman says until the Ninth Circuit rules on this emergency motion, Judge Immergit's ruling will stay in place. And an update following the end of the government shutdown. The FAA has lifted all flight restrictions at 40 major U.S. airports, including right here at PDX. Airports were forced to cut up to 6% of flights to ease the strain during the shutdown. It was rolled back to 3% on Friday. At its height, PDX saw nearly 24 flight cancellations in a single day. Today, just one flight was canceled. There are no cancellations for tomorrow. All right, turning to weather, let's be honest, this was the perfect November day to either just stay in bed and do nothing or spend the day inside, maybe watching some football. Here's meteorologist Joe Ranieri with how many more gray and rainy days we have coming up this week, Joe.
You know, I can't remember the last time I had a day just to kick it in bed all day. Do you know, John?
It's probably been
a while for you too. I wish I could live that life like I did years ago. Well, hey, you know, it was a nice day. If you had a chance to maybe go run some errands, stay inside, cook up a nice crock pot of chili, whatever the case may be. Basically, not a heavy rain. It wasn't, you know, to the point where you couldn't go outside, but it was just kind of that nasty drizzle most of the day, which brought up to about 1/4 inch of rain. We'll still see showers overnight and into tomorrow morning, but you know, if you're lucky enough to sleep in past 9 o'clock, you're going to wake up and thinking, hey, today was a dry day. That's kind of what your Monday is going to look like. Here's a look at the rainfall totals since midnight. Just about 1/4 inch throughout a lot of locations over in Vancouver, at the Portland International Airport, and Aurora. Here in the Goose Hollow neighborhood of Southwest Portland, we saw just about 1/4 inch of rain or so, and that was the case along the Central and Oregon coast. Hoquiam there, you saw just over 1/10 inch of rain. So that system that we saw earlier today is going to push off to the east, but there's still another cold front that's going to be arriving tomorrow, bringing in some cooler temperatures, obviously, but with those cooler temperatures, the rain is going to be falling between now and about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we dry out for a couple of days. I'll let you know just when we can expect to see another round of heavier rain coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thank you. We'll see you soon. Developing tonight, police are investigating a shooting this morning that killed one person and left 2 others hurt. It happened around 6:30 in a home near Southeast 125th Avenue and Southeast Division. Inside, they found 3 people with gunshot wounds and another person with minor injuries. One of the shooting victims died of their injuries at the hospital. No one has been arrested at this point. Anyone with information is asked to reach out to police. In Southwest Washington, the Clark County Sheriff's Office is investigating a crash that killed a motorcyclist. It happened around 8 last night when a witness reported finding the crash scene on Northeast Hasten Road and Battleground. The rider was taken to the hospital where they died of their injuries. And take a look at this semi crash that completely blocked northbound I-5 in Cowlitz County. Washington State Patrol is investigating why the driver left the road near Castle Rock, which caused him to lose control of the semi before hitting a guardrail and rolling over. He was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment and also charged with negligent driving. No other car was involved. Well, a major loss for one of downtown Portland's best-known restaurants. Higgins on Southwest Broadway was founded by chef Greg Higgins and his partner Paul Mallory 32 years ago. So it came as a shock to hear that Mallory died suddenly this past week. Libby Dowsett has more on his legacy.
We're all going to miss him dearly, and when you know someone's having health problems, it's one thing, but when someone's just boom, boom, taken from you like that, it's really hard to get your brain around. This is cranberry sauce in a big way.
Chef Greg Higgins says his crew is still stunned over the sudden death of 71-year-old Paul Mallory, his decades-long business partner and lifelong friend he met right here when Mallory was tending bar at what was then the Broadway Review.
And one day he just said, "What are you doing? You're working like a maniac. You know, are you going to do this your whole life?" And I said, "No, I'm thinking of opening a place." And that's how the conversation started. And so that was almost 40 years ago.
If you've been to Higgins, you've surely seen Mallory. He ran the front of house crew and greeted customers at the door.
You know, he's a very outgoing, funny guy, always wanting to talk sports or, you know, act up, pantomime some silly thing or whatever. And so that lightened things up and kept people doing their thing.
In recent years, Mallory scaled back his shift to a couple days a week, but was always there, even in the leanest of times, for his Higgins family and his own, including his daughter and son-in-law, who work at the restaurant and are now helping plan a massive company potluck to remember him.
He was a very family-oriented guy, lots of grandkids and kids and 2 sets of children. And, just a heart-wrencher for everybody.
Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
Also today, community members gathered outside a local business to remember a man who died on the job. Jason Hay had only been working at Bins and Barrels Liquor for about a year when he suffered a heart attack near the end of October. A person saw this happening, and rather than call for help, he and a woman were caught on camera stealing money. Hay was taken to the ICU but later died. His sister told us it was heartwarming hearing stories about how he impacted lives.
Jason made a point to know everybody by name, not just at work, but everywhere. The grocery store, the post office, gas station, the mechanics next door. He touched everybody every single day, whether it was coming to work or walking his dogs.
His family also continues to seek justice as the suspects that were caught on camera have not been found. Tonight, we're tracking a looming workers' strike that's set to take place in the days leading up to Christmas. Nearly 700 New Seasons Market union workers have voted to authorize a strike. It's set to begin December 17th if the union and the company can't reach an agreement by the 4th of that month. The union says there are 5 contract proposals left to negotiate, including ending at-will employment, layoff protections, and safety standards. New Seasons released a statement saying, in part, their focus is on finding a fair resolution that supports our staff while ensuring we can continue serving out customers and the community.